What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. This is TWM Motorsports, and today is a hot, dry, windy day, so hopefully you guys don't catch a ton of wind noise, but we are going to be working on the Suburban yet again, and we're really close, guys. I don't want to do a ton of stuff to this thing. The only other things I want to do, other than just give it a good cleanup, is there's some touch up that I'd like to do, and eventually I might put a stereo in it. But other than that, the way you see it right now is pretty much the way it's going to look. I don't have a ton of plans for it. I might show you guys a video if I disable the cylinder deactivation, because I'm just afraid that if I don't, that those lifters will eventually fail. That is the downside to these 5.3s, is they sometimes fail. But today what we are going to be doing, I have three things in mind for today. The very first thing is, in the last video I talked about why I didn't clean this thing after I lowered it, but we are going to be removing the side trim, that belt trim on the side. The clear is messed up, and like I said, if you caught my last video, I talked about that at the end. That's why I hadn't cleaned it, because I'm going to take those off, and obviously we're going to need to clean it after that. The other thing is, I'm going to take these bars out of the center. Now I am going to leave this because I don't want to take this off. Now if I run across one for like a Yukon Denali or an Escalade, I might replace it with that, because they're just a lot cleaner looking. There's no space under them. They're all solid, and they have a painted front and rear cap. So I may end up doing that if I find one in a salvage yard. But I do want to remove these center supports. And then the last thing I want to do is, you guys know, if you've been watching on this thing, I did all LEDs. So LED headlights, brights, dims, fog lights. I also did the mirrors, in the bottom of the mirrors, and I did all the interior. Well, when I did that, I also did the reverse lights, or sorry, the license plate lights. I want to do the reverse lights, because when I'm backing this thing up, it's really dark because we've got the windows completely blacked out. So today we're going to do those three things. We're going to do reverse lights, we're going to take off those rear or those center supports, and we are going to remove the trim on the side. So I think all in all, it's going to make it look a little nicer. And then also, when I hit my remote at night, your reverse lights light up, and that will just give me all matching lights on the outside. Like I said, I should have done that when I did the outside lights, but I didn't have them, and today I do. So let's get started. I'm going to set you guys up on a tripod. Let's see how hard these things are to get off. You know, it's a 2011, so they shouldn't be as bad as older stuff I've done, but we're going to try anyway. So I got everything I'm going to need. I've got my Rolly chair, which, guys, if you don't have one of these, you need to get one. This is the best thing my wife's ever bought me. I'll listen to the description. I get asked about it all the time. But we've got fishing line, got a pair of scissors, I've got an eraser wheel, and then I have my 3M adhesive remover and a rag. And chances are we're probably going to have to buff areas around this, so we'll get to that if we have to. But the very first thing I do, and I'll list all this stuff down below like always, but I grab a piece of fishing line off of here and start going behind it. Now sometimes, if it's cold outside, you're probably going to have to use a heat gun to get this thing hot, but today is scorching hot, and I'm actually trying to do this in the shade. As you can see, I'm on the shady side, and probably switch it around when I go to the other side. But I just use this kind of like a saw, and you can see the dirt falling out from behind it. I really didn't want to remove this, but I hate the look of the top of it, and there's just, like I said, there's no way to fix it other than painting it, and I'm not going to spend the time to paint just the trim. Just pointless. I'm not one of those people that parks close to anybody anyway, and my wife's pretty much like me, but it is nice to have something that you can, you know, park anywhere and not have to worry about. So once you get through it like that, you should just be able to pull it off. And holy cow, look how much dirt's behind it. That's crazy. So what I'm going to do at this point is, instead of just hitting this with my eraser wheel, I'm going to go grab a microfiber and just probably some cleaning solution, probably just some soapy water, and we're going to get this cleaned up a little bit, so we're not just grinding this dirt into the paint. It just helps, in my opinion, it just helps of less paint correction down the road. So I'm going to go grab something, we'll spray this down, get the majority of this dirt off, and then we'll go after it with both the adhesive remover and the eraser wheel. Now all this is just soap and water. Actually it's dish soap, which will take all of your wax. If you have any wax on it, it'll take all that off. And I decided to use disposable towels because it's just going to get it dirty. I'll go over it again with the microfiber. That is nasty. And I can tell you it's going to need paint corrected. That is for sure. The good thing is it won't hold water. You know, a lot of times these things hold water back behind them. Now at least it won't do that. Tell you what, I'm not even going to grab a microfiber. I'm just going to go at it. I'm going to go over it once with the adhesive remover here, just to try to loosen some of that up before we go crazy with the eraser wheel. This kind of softens it, and it's going to take some of it off, your smaller sections. Let's use this eraser wheel and see what we can make a mess of here. This is a messy job. As you can see, it comes off really quickly. This stuff's pretty soft. When it's been on there for years, it just falls into pieces, but this isn't bad. So once you went over that, all we really need to do is, man, that stuff's sticking to my arms. Use some more adhesive remover and get the chunks that it left. And these areas like here, where the waters just ran down over the years, that we're gonna have to take out with a buffer. There's just not much you can do other than a buffer on that. Sometimes you can get away with a clay bar and it'll take some of it off, but anytime you clay something, you really need to use some sort of paint correction after, because the clay does mar up the paint. So to me, there's no sense in doing a clay bar and then that. We'll just go straight to the buffer. Let's go grab my buffer out and we'll get rid of these marks. So what I'm using is my cheapy Griot's Garage polisher, and I'm actually using a gray foam pad. It's like a heavy correction pad, and then some M105. Now, if you guys have been on this channel, you guys know that this is like my go-to stuff here. but it works really well. So we're gonna hit this and see if we can get some of this off. So it actually cleaned up really well. I'm gonna have to go over that section right at the front. I don't know if you guys can see that in the camera, but there's still a spot right there. So I think after a couple passes, we should be good. So at this point, guys, what I think I'll do is I will just time lapse the rest of this, and that includes me going around and repeating this process on the rest of the truck. Now, after you do the M105, I am gonna run over with some M205 and an orange pad, just to clean up any haziness. Now, chances are in white you're really not going to notice it, so you don't have to do that, but it does put some haze on it, the M105 and this pad. So if you want that out, especially on a darker color, you're going to want to use that second pass with M205 or something a little softer as far as pads go and product. Now that we got all that off the side, and man, that was a chore. Honestly, guys, I probably went a little too far with the paint protection or the paint correction, and I actually did the entire door on this side, but it does look a lot better, and it definitely needed it. I just figured while I was doing it, I might as well do the whole door. So at some point I'll do the whole thing, and I might show you guys a video on that at some point. It just they stay cleaner longer. But anyway, we're gonna go up to the top, and what I have here is, I think it's a T25. And so in order to get these things out of the top, you can loosen this up, and then once you loosen it, they slide. But they don't come out unless you take a cap off. So you either got to take the cap off the back, or you have to take the cap off the front. So what I've chose to do is I'm going to take this cap off, and so there is a T25 bolt inside. All we have to do is loosen that, and then this cap will be loose, and we can actually slide them out the back. You actually, though, you are going to have to unclip them like what I'm doing here, and that, like I said, gives them the ability to slide. And then we'll have to slide that one up front all the way back, but it's better than having to take 4 bolts out. You just really need to take 2. Not sure if you guys noticed, but I didn't have a battery on it. Now, if yours have been in there a while, sometimes they like to stick. So don't strip these out, because then you'll have to drill them, and that's a huge pain. I have to get a magnet because I can't quite get my hand in there. There we go. Looks like I might have to use 2 hands to get this off. Actually, I'm wondering, we'll go look at the one in the front, because this one looks like what I'm going to have to do is take this bolt out as well. So we'll see what the front one's like. Maybe the front one slides off. So after looking at the front one, it's the exact same. So you're going to actually have to take 2 out, it looks like. And then hopefully, yeah, so then we can slide this off and slide these things back. I'm going to have to put the camera down to do it though. Once you get those 2 out, there is a little plastic clip. I just used a flathead screwdriver to pry it loose. And then we can get this out of the way. And we got to do this on both sides, and then you can go ahead and slide this thing out. Now that I've got both sides off, we'll get them unclipped. And you do kind of have to slide evenly. And the front or the back one's out. And I probably should take some time, and I probably will, to go ahead and clean this area up underneath, just because I'm picky and, well, we're up here. This front one, we're just gonna have to walk back side by side until we get it all the way to the back. Unfortunately, I don't have anybody out here to help me. So it's just going back and forth until we get back to the back, or at least close enough where I can stand on the back bumper and grab it. So I went ahead and put those back in place, and guys, I just snugged those down. You don't want to get them too tight. You don't want to risk stripping them, or then you have a real mess, because you're going to have to get new ones. And believe me, you don't want to spend the time doing that. But now, let's open this rear gate, and let's see if we can get these tail lights in, or the reverse lights anyway. And it seems as though all we're going to need is a oh, actually, no, that's a, yeah, no, it's a Phillips. So a Phillips screwdriver for the top and the bottom, and that should release the tail light. Let's see if we can get these out of here. I probably have the camera in like the most annoying spot to work. They should just fit. There we go. So the reverse light is the second light down. We're just going to turn it, pull this guy out. Now, from what I've been told, and you guys said, one of you guys reached out to me in my last video, these Zevo lights that I'm using are non-directional. So you literally just plug them in and go. Man, that doesn't fit great. I think I'm going to bend that prong a little bit on the inside of the socket, because it's just, it seems like it's going to fall out. Yeah, I'm going to bend it just a little bit. So I just put a little pick in there and bend it. We should be good at that. That's a little better. Twist it back in. Before I bolt them up, I'm going to do both sides. And before I actually screw them back in place, I'm going to test them. There's little pieces of rubber that set in the fender that hold these things. Hopefully that didn't hurt it. I dropped it. I'm gonna have to bend this one too. What I'm using is a little pick like this, just to bend these prongs out a little so it sets a little better. There we go. This one's got a little less slack on it. Should we get them lined up? All right, like I said, before I go crazy, and I know it's only 2 bolts, but let's go test them. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but one side worked and the other didn't. So to be honest with you, I don't even know if I don't know if they worked before. So we'll try it again. And see. But there may be a short in the wiring and I didn't know about. It's not like you ever see the reverse lights. I feel like I did kind of see them at night. I feel like they did work, but we'll test it again. So obviously they're both working, but I wanted to show you guys what I was talking about, these little rubber pieces that it sets in. There's 2 little end pieces that go in that, so and they snap into place. Now we can go ahead and bolt them up. Let's go ahead and get these back in place. Don't get them too tight. You don't want to snap that. It's just plastic here. All right, guys, what we will do is I'll come out at night and we'll take a look at the difference. And then at the very end of the video, we'll take a look around the whole thing and see how much better it looks. It's pretty dark out here now, so we can take a look at how much brighter. Look at how bright these things are. So much better than what we had. I will tell you guys, check that out. One of my license plate lights is out already. That was those cheaper LED bulbs. All the ones on the inside seem to be fine, but did burn out one of the back ones. But it's looking good, guys. Like I said, I really like this better because it matches with the vanity lights under the mirrors, and it also, you know, obviously matches with the headlights. But we'll take a look at it in the morning. We'll get it all cleaned up and come back out here and look at all the trim that we've taken off. Now we've got it all cleaned up, and it's taken me a couple days to get this accomplished, but it's kind of hard to clean these things during the daytime because I have hard water, and then with the sun and the wind, it makes it kind of a pain. But I can go either way, guys. I think it looks good without the trim. I honestly think the trim kind of breaks some of the fact that it's so long up, but it needed to come off because it looked like crap. And to be honest with you, I wasn't going to spend the money to repaint that, but it's looking better. Also, those lights, as you can see, were quite a bit brighter at nighttime, and this thing is looking really, really sharp. Now I am contemplating going down another, probably about 1 inch in the back, and if I do that, I'll probably go down another 1/2 inch to 1 inch in the front. So, and then I'm going to need some tires very soon. The other thing is I have to address, and somebody reached out and said this in the lowering video, but when you lower these, because they have a panhard rod, the rear end tends to shift over. Now, I didn't notice it at first, but when I put the trailer on to bring this car home, I noticed that wheel is dragging a little bit on the inner fender. So that means that I need to pull that out. So I'm gonna have to, at some point, get an adjustable panhard rod. And if I go down a little bit more, obviously we're gonna have to do that. But hit the comments, guys. Let me know what you think of this thing. It is looking really nice. And like I said, I don't have a ton of stuff planned for it. Just make it a nice daily driver. I do drive it quite a bit, and we are gonna keep this thing around for quite a while because it is a nice family hauler, especially if we just wanna hop in and go somewhere and not take a hot rod. Well, I say most of the time we take the old car now. But anyway, if you guys aren't subscribed, go down and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there, make sure you ring that bell icon. That notifies you every time we drop a new video, and stay tuned to see what we get into next.